World War Hulk Explained, the Marvel Universe is embarrassed. This unique story has the Hulk and his group, the Warbound, pitted against Earth's mightiest heroes and especially a clique called the Illuminati. Here's how it all went down. World War Hulk number 1. So this story begins with the assumption that Hulk has been banished against his will by the Illuminati. The elite group consists of Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt. They are supposed to be a top-secret group within a group, and they came to the conclusion that the Hulk was too dangerous to be around. It's a decision that comes back to bite them, but Hulk ended up on a planet named Sahkar, which is inhabited by gladiator runners. He was forced to fight in gladiator battles until he had had enough. He befriended other beings like himself who were enslaved on Sahkar for the same purpose. Together they arose and defeated their slave masters. The Red King, who was the planet's ruler, was toppled and the Hulk was crowned as the new leader. Together with his lieutenants who fought side by side with him, they were collectively called the Warbound. The Hulk fell in love with a female being named Kyra, and they were expecting a baby together. But something disastrous occurred to make Hulk helplessly angry. The warp core on Hulk's starship exploded, killing the inhabitants of the capital city, including Kyra and the unborn baby. Hulk blamed it on the Illuminati, and together with the Warbound, they set the sail for Earth to exact their revenge. They first arrived on the moon and met a Black Bolt there. In the ensuing fight, the Hulk pummeled Black Bolt to a pulp. Next stop was New York City, and a hologram of the Hulk was beamed into Times Square. The Hulk told anyone who cared to listen that he was here to tear down the Illuminati. To prove that no one could stop him, he showed the world an exhibit of a bruised and battered Black Bolt. On Iron Man's request, Doctor Strange tries to project his image into Hulk's mind, but to no avail. The Hulk is too angry to be reasoned with, and all the magic in the world cannot stop him. The only person who might stand a chance is Robert Reynolds, also known as the Sentry. This guy packs so much energy that he can obliterate the entire world under certain conditions. But he refuses to help out because he knows what might happen if he goes full throttle on the Hulk. Many lives may be lost in the crossfire. While the regular heroes evacuate the city of New York, Iron Man puts on his bulkier armor and prepares to fight the Hulk. They go at it for a while until the Hulk overwhelms Iron Man with his pure rage. World War Hulk number 2. Iron Man is dead, and a few heroes try to convince Doctor Strange to end this by using his magical powers to kill the Hulk. But Doctor Strange is honorable and refuses. Instead, Doctor Strange tries to find a way to get into the Hulk's mind for a chat, but the Hulk would not let anything in because of the hate that had consumed him. Spider-Man and Luke Cage come along and try to take on the Hulk. She-Hulk is there too. She tries to talk to her cousin, but he attacks her before she has time to regroup. She's able to hit him, but he ultimately slams her the hardest he can muster, and so she is taken out of the fight. The others engage the Hulk and his Warbound group. They quickly realize that they're outclassed. The Hulk and the Warbind are simply too strong, but there is a plan afoot, and all the heroes need to do is buy themselves some time. At the Baxter Building, Mr. Fantastic is fabricating a weapon that could help them defeat the Hulk, so the others continue to take more blows for the team. More heroes like the Human Torch and the Thing try to stop the Hulk and his team as they move towards the Baxter Building. The Hulk succeeds in overpowering the Thing and is about to land a fatal blow when he sees a very bright light. Is this the Sentry? The Hulk is momentarily entranced, but when a hand is extended, the Hulk squeezes it. It turns out that Mr. Fantastic built a decoy device that mimics the Sentry. The Hulk becomes angrier and starts to pummel Mr. Fantastic. An invisible woman tries to cover her husband with a force shield, but the Hulk breaks it with his enhanced strength. He continues to hit Mr. Fantastic until he is incapacitated. SHIELD agents are waiting from a distance and decide they have to step in with the full force of a more advanced military, seeing the Earth's heroes have failed. World War Hulk number 3. General Ross flies into New York with his elite Army Corps and a lot of helicopters with ample firepower. Their secret weapon to defeat the Hulk is adamantine bullets and shells. They make it rain on the Hulk, and these bullets seem to be working. The Hulk can feel the pain for the first time since coming face to face with his perceived enemies. Doctor Strange seizes this opportunity to penetrate the Hulk's mind. Doctor Strange takes him back to his home planet of Sahkar and walks through the issues with him there. But the Hulk resists Doctor Strange with every ounce of his will. Meanwhile, General Ross and his men think the Hulk is going crazy and continue to bombard him with more firepower. Doctor Strange asks the Hulk to show his true face. The Hulk agrees and is transformed into Bruce Banner. Doctor Strange tries to explain that the Illuminati had nothing to do with the accident on Sahkar, but Bruce still doesn't believe that explanation. Doctor Strange then makes a bad move by showing his physical self. At first, it seems Bruce wants to be held, but once Doctor Strange gets too close, Bruce turns into the Hulk again. He gets a hold of Strange's hands and breaks them. At that time, while the Hulk was trapped in his own mind, the Warbound were protecting him from General Ross. They had shielded him, but now that Doctor Strange is out of the way, the Hulk comes back even stronger. With a single seismic clap, the Hulk takes out General Ross's entire formation. Ross tries to go it alone, but the Hulk grabs him out of the helicopter as they plummet to the ground. Ross ends up dead. The president is then informed that their only hope is a nuclear strike, but this is ruled out. So now all they are left with is the Sentry, who might turn out to be worse than a nuclear bomb. Meanwhile, all of Earth's heroes have been captured, but Doctor Strange thinks he has a trick up his sleeve. With Wong's help, he is transformed into a powerful demon entity called Zom in a bid to take down the Hulk. At this point, we must also mention Meek, who is one of the Hulk's lieutenants and a loyal but sycophantic one at that. Remember that name because it is pivotal to how the story turns out. World War Hulk number 4. Doctor Strange watches as Zom engages the Hulk in a fight, and it is cataclysmic. They trade punches and crash into buildings. At some point, a building collapses on some civilians, and when Doctor Strange takes a time out to check on them, he finds the Hulk is already there protecting them. This suggests the Hulk still has some humanity in him, so Doctor Strange lets his guard down and is ultimately defeated. He is taken to join the other heroes who have since become prisoners. Just as obedience discs have been placed on them, these discs are meant to dampen their powers and prevent them from protesting. The next thing on Hulk's agenda is to make the superheroes fight one another in gladiator-style tournaments. And trust us when we say that it gets really bloody. In one instance, Mr. Fantastic is pitted against Iron Man. They fight hard and long until Mr. Fantastic gains the upper hand. It's supposed to be a fight to the death, and as Mr. Fantastic and the audience anxiously wait on the signal from the Hulk to finish Iron Man off, the Hulk then signals in the negative. At this point, the Sentry is still a viable option against the Hulk, and his home in Vermont is surrounded by the army as the president reaches out to him to help the situation. But he just stands there in his doorway because he is also mentally unstable. But good sense prevails and the Sentry flies to the battle in a bid to play a god of sorts. World War Hulk number 5. Mr. Fantastic narrowly misses Tony Stark's head. It turns out he was made to do so by the Hulk, so the Hulk was sparing their lives after all. He argued that all of this destruction was only to expose the Illuminati for who they are, but Meek starts to disagree, and right then, the Hulk ship explodes and crashes into the improvised arena. The Sentry has just made his entrance, and he blasts the Hulk with a high energy wave, which stuns him. The Hulk picks himself up and engages in an epic battle with the Sentry. Apparently, the Sentry is so powerful that he could end up killing everyone, so the others chip in to try to contain him. The Warbound get into a temporary alliance with the Marvel heroes and the Illuminati. Mr. Fantastic figures that Earth's satellites are up and running again since when the Sentry destroyed Hulk's ship. But the fight prevents anything from being done because it is so destructive. In the midst of it, the Hulk is overpowered by the brightness of the pure energy the Sentry emits. He turns back into Bruce and almost surrenders, but Meek will have none of that. He tries to goad Bruce, but accidentally kills Rick, who is an old friend of the Hulk. Enraged, the Hulk starts to tear Meek apart, but not before Meek confesses to being complicit in the explosion back on the planet Sahkar. Upon this revelation, the Hulk's rage starts to overload, and Tony soon regains control of the satellite. An orbital strike is targeted at the Hulk's position. At first, it irradiates him, but ultimately it reduces him back to his human form. Bruce is unconscious and is put in a metal coffin and transported to a secret underground prison situated in the Mojave Desert. After all this destruction, it's the price the Illuminati and the world have had to pay for messing with the Hulk. If you have reached this far, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and press the bell icon so you may never miss any of our future updates.